From darkness to light. Hi, this is Chandra. Welcome again. For those of you who know that today is Ram Navami, the appearance of the avatar of Vishnu, Lord Ramachandra. Well, happy Ram Navami to you all. If you're into Eastern philosophy, specifically Indian philosophy, yoga philosophy, whether you're from an Indian background or whether you're from the rest of the world, then please do subscribe to this channel, because not only will you not miss another video on this topic, but by subscribing you're also doing your little bit or your big bit in popularizing Sanatan Dharma, popularizing yoga wisdom all over the world, and you probably agree that it's something that's worthwhile doing. So please do subscribe. Today I want to talk to you really quickly about Prime Minister Modi chanting Hare Krishna. He did this recently, publicly. Here's the video clip, and I want to tell you a few things about it.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Jai Gaurang Mahaprabhu, Jai Nitai, মহাপ্রভুর এই ভূমিকে জানাই প্রণাম। হরে কৃষ্ণ, হরে কৃষ্ণ।
Now look, I'm not going to get into like nitty-gritty of politics, okay? Some of you probably find some of the policies of Narendra Modi really bad, some really good. If you want to have discussions about it in the comments, feel free to do it. I'm not gonna, participate so much into the nitty-gritty of policies that Prime Minister Modi is taking in India, okay? But what I want to say is this, and especially in the light of Lord Ramachandra, whose appearance day, whose birthday, quote unquote, is today, and he is considered by the followers of the Vedic tradition as the ideal monarch. And note that I mentioned monarch, coming from the word monarchy and not democracy. When you have an ideal God-conscious monarch, what to speak of when God himself is the monarch, then you actually have the best possible, I believe, system of governance for the people. Democracy is great, but there's a lot of problems with democracy, especially when the gap between God and the so-called secular world is only increased more and more and more. What I mean by that is, if you look at secular countries, like for example in Europe especially, I believe that in the name of secularism, the result is that God is more and more and more taken out of the entire equation. In the name of keeping religion in the private sphere and not in the public sphere, what you have is a more and more atheistic system, where more and more godless system of values. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about values, because how can you talk about values in an atheistic system? Basically, less and less values, less and less morality, all based on less and less God consciousness as a direct result of so-called secularism. Now, of course, if you had caliphates, and I'm sorry to say, if there's any Muslim friends out there, I don't particularly find the Sharia law the most attractive thing. Actually, not much at all. But I don't think that secular humanism or a secular government par excellence, where there's absolutely zero trace of spirituality in the government, is the next best alternative. I really don't. Okay, having said that, let's look at Narendra Modi. He is, in my opinion, doing something that no other world leader on the political scene is doing today. And that is, he's chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He's chanting the holy name of Krishna. Not only that, I'll get back to this point and the significance of this, but look what he's doing. He's also calling out the name of Lord Chaitanya. He's saying Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or something like that, right? He's directly saying the name of Lord Chaitanya. Now, as a bhakti practitioner and as a follower of Lord Chaitanya, I find that astounding. I find that wonderful. that the leader of one of the biggest democracies, speaking of which, in the world, is publicly chanting the name of Krishna and publicly chanting the name of Lord Chaitanya, who I believe, is directly Krishna himself, a combination of Radha and Krishna combined, is amazing. It's amazing. And nobody else does that. You have certain leaders who are religious, yes, granted, in the Islamic world, many of the leaders are very religious. In the Western world, some of the leaders are religious, but they keep it very private. Sometimes they'll speak about it, for example, in abortion issues and pro-life issues. In the case of the United States, you have the US dollar that says, "In God we trust." We can criticize that if we want, but hey, at least it's there. At least the idea of saying "In God we trust" is there. At least a politician having a private Christian life is a lot better, a million times better than a leader having no spiritual life. And the extreme example of that is Stalin. Stalin, that demon Stalin who made Hitler look like an angel. I mean, that guy, and I don't mince my words. If you actually look at the studies, I mean, I'm not saying that Hitler was in any way a nice person. But if you compare, the worst of two evils is certainly Stalin. I mean, the atrocities that he did in the name of, nothing even coming close to some sort of, higher value and spirituality. I mean, he killed his own son. I mean, anyway, so here you go. This is what you get, as a politician who's atheistic, of course, in the extreme example. But Modi, coming back to Modi, here he is chanting Hare Krishna. And so what's the significance? The significance is that according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, according to the Chaitanya literatures, according to the Vedic understanding, when you chant Krishna's holy name, God's name in general, but Krishna's name, I believe, is especially potent for this age. When you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, you are purifying yourself of unlimited amount of sin from unlimited amount of lifetimes. And, better yet, all those people who hear you also become purified of so much karma, of so much sin from past lives, and from this life also, you see. So when you have the head honcho of a nation, the number one of a nation, setting this example of chanting Krishna's name in public, not only is he purifying himself, not only is he purifying everybody who's listening to the Maha Mantra as he's chanting it, but he's setting this incredible example. And I'll quote you one verse here from the Bhagavad Gita. If you haven't read the Bhagavad Gita is the most important text, we could say, the foundational text of all the yoga philosophies, Hindu traditions, Indic philosophies, Vedic wisdoms. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, Yad Yad Acharshi Shreshtas, in the 3rd chapter or 4th chapter, I forget, he says that, whatever a great man does, the common man follows. Basically, you teach by example, right? You teach by example. And in the case of Lord Ramachandra, again, whose appearance day is today, he taught by example. It's described that he was the greatest monarch and everybody in his kingdom was completely satisfied. There was no dearth of anything. There was no dishonesty. All the citizens were happy. And by his own example, he set the example of being honest and truthful and loyal to his parents and respectful and loyal to his wife. I mean, the list goes on. So when Modi is chanting Hare Krishna, he's telling every single Indian in the nation state of India, that chanting Hare Krishna is good, that chanting Hare Krishna is important, and that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, or is an incredibly important personality. That's huge. And he's telling the rest of the world also, who is watching, that chanting Hare Krishna is the spiritual heritage of India, and I'm proud to do it in a non-sectarian way, in a simple, humble way. And in this way, not only is he setting the example for Indians, but he's setting the example for the whole world, for the whole human population, of what a political leader, however imperfect he may be in his personal life or with certain policies X, Y, or Z, is supposed to do, namely to chant God's name, to be God conscious on a daily basis. And that, my friends, is amazing. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, again, let's try to keep it away from like nitty-gritty politics, But if you want to talk about greater themes, then please do mention it in the comments. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. And once again, thank you for watching. If you did like this video, please do subscribe. As I said at the beginning, it helps. If we make this channel grow, then the more people on earth will benefit. And remember, we are much more than our body and our minds.